Wednesday, everybody. My name is Scott Mendenhall. I had to really think about that one because normally we're here on Wednesday. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Scott Mendenhall. This is a YouTube channel where we try to review Onewheel products, and we get to interview some of the pros and upcoming pros and just people. Yesterday we had Jack Mudd, Chief Evangelist from Onewheel on. We got to talk about all things Onewheel at the headquarters. That was a lot of fun. We are typically joined here in the studio with a great host of people today. We're down one. My wife is not here in the studio, so Holly's out, but we still have the one and only Lily.
Happy Thursday!
What's our shirt saying today, Lil?
Smile more.
Smile more, everybody. That's the hopes today.
Don't need to do that.
Trying to put some smiles on people's faces. We're excited about an encore podcast this week because if you didn't know, this past weekend there was an epic race kicking off the ORL series of races for 2024. It was Let It Ride 3 out in the desert, and footage and pictures were dropping on all kinds of people's Instagrams and YouTube channels over the weekend. And we're going to interview the winning couple, men and women, who took first in the pros division. It doesn't mean we don't value the other divisions. We do. We're going to follow along in the season. How is the ORL Race to the Rails quest developing? And so we're going to get on here many of those that are in hunt for that, and so we're excited about that. And so today is all about past Let It Ride weekend, and we're excited about to get all the updates. What we're going to do really quick before we get the amazing couple here and get a good introduction to them, we want to give you the brackets, the who won what, and like I said, we are wanting to give a good rounded aspect of the weekend because there's multiple divisions out there. Lily, when you sign up for a race, what division do you race for?
Amateur.
Amateur what?
Women.
Women, there you go, okay. And I would do amateur men, but then they break them down depending on each race you go to. Age brackets, okay, from the ages of like, I don't know, like Lily would be in the 25 to 35 category or whatever those things are, okay? And so we really quick want to give you for the Clydesdale. Here it is. We put it on the screen. These are your Clydesdale winners over the weekend at Let It Ride. Here you go. You can see them on the screen. If you're driving or something and you're listening and not seeing this, it's just the way it is going to be. You can't see it, and I'm not going to spend time butchering everyone's name. And then we have the Legends. This is another category that they had at Let It Ride. Here are your finalists and their overall time. Then you have women's race. Here you go, women's pros. Here's all the heats and the breakdown of time. And then the men's. So there we brought you up to speed of the ones that we've seen posted. There are many other divisions. We don't have amateurs and the beginner class or the grounds, okay? But those are the ones we're highlighting here. Now, here's some footage of the highlights so you have an idea what's taking place while you're at Let It Ride. Here is some footage that we've got from all over Instagram. Look at this. This is the mammoth mountain or hill that you roll into and hit the sandy course. Remember, this is out in the middle of the desert. They are mobbing folks. Like, you're just watching just them zip by. It is phenomenal. They had that jump there. As we get to our couple, they'll break down all these different features that are in here. This is Send It Luke. This guy is crazy in his abilities. And I love the pink and the red. It was like straight up like he was wearing Valentine's Day. And then they did a drop column where you just drop it off the side of dirt hill, and then trying to land it, I guess. This is unique. I don't even know what you call that thing, but hit it, okay? So there's your highlights from the weekend, and on the screen currently you see one of the people we are going to be interviewed. He is famously known for that orange helmet. If he ever changes the orange helmet, he might need to put an announcement, a public service announcement out there for those that say, I'm changing the color of my hat, because he's known for his helmet. Today we are joined by the most fastest couple on the planet of the earth right now. They are the fastest. How do I know that? Because their times say that. This is not my opinion. They proved it this last weekend. They have a quest for 2024 gold, and they are starting off well. It is the Legends. It is the couple that everyone aspires to be like in doing life together, racing together, one-wheeling together, raising two amazing pups, and traveling the world while they do it. It's the Silvas, everyone. Austen and Mercedes, welcome today. Look at you
You always
guys.
have such an awesome introduction. I love it.
Well, and the more we have you guys on the show, I got to dig deep. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just be saying the same stuff all the time. So, just trying to keep it very fresh. And thank you for always making it easy to keep it fresh in the way you guys ride and watching this past weekend. Again, full disclosure to everyone watching here on this YouTube channel, we don't root against this couple. Like, anyone asks, who are you gonna root for in the race? If these two are there, they're our pick. And so it's hard to root against you guys. It really is. And you prove why, because this past weekend, you guys did some amazing riding. So for those watching, can you give a breakdown as, like, again, we'll put the we'll put the women's bracket back up there, Mercedes. And so to explain to people why there's so many times up there in heats, how do you get to the final race? Is it you just have one big race and all the pros are there, or can you explain what Let It Ride weekend was like for you?
So essentially for the women, because there's so few, you basically just go straight into semifinals. And for that, there was only 7 of us. So 3 went into one bracket, which was my bracket. And then 4 went into the second heat. And then the top 2 from each of the brackets come together, and that's your finals.
Okay.
And so, yeah, kind of for the men's, it's the same thing. 4 people race together, top 2 move on.
There you go. So she's explaining to you how the race works. It's very similar to the other divisions. It's just not as much as at stake, okay? Actually, I take that back. They don't have heats like that, right? It's just you're just mobbing through your stages and is that right for the amateurs and down? Or you have no idea?
Top 4 moved on to finals. So the time trials determined who placed where, and then the top 4 moved on and did the Monster Hill is what it was called.
There you go. It's got a name. And this year, I think people did so much better at filming said hill. Like, it is like we have this picture. I think it's the men's and women's have these pictures that someone snapped so well and tagged you all in it. If we can put that on the screen so people can see this hillside of, like, it gives the idea of how mammoth. What's it called again? The what?
The Monster.
The Monster Hill. It's not for the faint of heart. I not being there, like, I don't know if I would go down it. I don't know if I would ride it if I
would. You would go down it.
Yeah, maybe rolling.
With Mercedes, like, you would.
Maybe rolling.
You just might go much slower than the others.
Maybe so. I'm not sure.
I would do it.
You would?
Yeah. I would probably fall, but I would do it.
I don't know.
You can take too. There's a slightly easier right line that it takes like a couple extra seconds to go down, and then there's whenever you're coming into it as a racer, it's on the left hand side, and that was the pro line.
Nice.
And I remember last year that one was super difficult, so I kind of just over it this year, and I was like, I'll just stick to the right hand side where I know and everything. And like there were specifically Heather and Sarah both took that pro line, and it was super impressive. Like Heather got right on my heels for the first heat because she took that, and it's so much faster. And I was like, dang, maybe.
Oh, so there is an advantage.
That's awesome.
There's an advantage to one side or to the other.
For sure.
Okay. Now, did we find the picture of my tech table over there? There is a picture. They're struggling to find it to show it. I forget what I labeled it, so they can't find it. That's it. There it is. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
That is an epic picture right there.
So, Mercedes, you're saying the one on the left is harder?
Yeah, the one that Raquel, I think that's Raquel and then Sarah on that hill, that one is way harder than going down on the right hand.
You can tell you're coming from the right side there.
Mm-hmm.
But that just...
Interesting.
When I saw that picture, I was like, that gives the magnitude of that hill. Now, I think... Let's talk a little techie here really quick. Gradient tracking had to be sublime with that hill this year. Could you tell a difference from last year without it on a GT to this year the GTS hitting that hill? Was it a difference, Austin, or was it just like, no, I didn't even notice?
Not with gradient tracking. Gradient tracking's out at, most of it is under 15 miles an hour.
You're going too fast.
Phases towards 20. I mean, you could tell a little bit. As soon as you drop in, it picks the tail up. But the power of the GTS was night and day difference. Last
Wow.
year, I didn't get much practice in, and at the bottom of the hill, there was a sand pit basically.
Yeah.
It was like mayhem last year, but I
Mhm.
was going top speed my first heat, and as soon as I hit the sand, I nosedived and came
Wow.
off, just over torqued the board. This year, people were hitting uh, 30, 31, 32
Jeez.
comfortably down the
That's
hill.
insane.
That's crazy.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, and I do think this year, from again my research, like I was not there. I have to keep saying that so people don't think I know all about the event. But I didn't see as much carnage this year from the event where people are just nose diving and
Yeah.
things of that nature. You saw a lot more of consistently coming down that thing and continuing to go. Now that could either be the one wheels obviously are upgraded, but also it could be to the terrain itself has been modified a little bit. Did they make tweaks to the trail from last year as well, so that helped in the transition?
Yeah, there's a few things. Obviously, the boards helped having more power. Um, Mercedes and I came last year. The hill's been a concern for the committee and some racers because of some injuries we had last year. So Mercedes and I went out a week early this year and helped make the course a little safer
Wow.
and smoother. I went with a skid steer and dug out all that sand that was there last year.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Um, and so yeah, we didn't have really any injuries this year, I don't think.
No, yeah.
Which is awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was
For,
incredible.
yeah. Especially if you're going to follow a sport, you don't want to see any, like, I don't want anybody hurt, right? Ever. So this is not reserved for, oh, if you're an amateur, oh, it's okay if you get, no. For the sport, like last year where Bodie gets taken out, you don't want a contender or anybody get taken out on the first day of racing. That would not be what anyone would like. So I'm so glad that everybody made it out there, probably with some bumps and bruises, but no one out for a season, which is great. We had a chance last Wednesday to get Joe on.
And he's in the chat too, Joey.
Joey, thanks for being with us today. But he's trying to talk to us, and he's like, oh, down over there. And he points off into the distance. He's like, is the Silva's working? Not training, not practicing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's quality human stuff right there, that they are trying to make sure this trail is amazing for everyone. And that's why how can you root against kind people like that, right, Lil? Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Not everyone's willing to put in the work, but they all want to play. So
Yeah, that's
you
well
guys
said.
are amazing.
Yeah. Like, so when we saw you back there, I was like, of course they are. Of course they're down there
Yeah,
with
we weren't
shovels.
surprised.
I mean, we watched you here. Oh, your house is falling apart, Scott. Let me swing some hammers and hang out on your rooftop for a while. Just good quality people. I think we have the similar picture of the men's coming down the hill as well, just to come back to that, because I just think those pictures are they're just high quality, and just those two lines, because we're going to see from other people's angles here in a little bit of people coming down those hilltops and just the choices. Now, Austen and Mercedes, answer this. Did you pre-decide, I know no matter what, I'm going down A or B before even it was race time, as we put the picture up?
Of the hill, yeah.
Yeah.
I was never going to go down the left side unless some freak accident happened and I'm in like the back of the pack and 3 people are going left. I may have gone right, but I was
Okay.
always going left.
If I had a little bit more time to practice too, because the weather kind of got in the way a little bit.
Yeah.
So I only got to practice like a few laps and everything. If I had a little bit more time, I would have considered the left-hand side a little bit more. But since there just wasn't much time to practice, I was like, oh, the right-hand side is just going to be, because I'm just so comfortable in it.
Yeah. You're speaking of on Friday, right? There's a little rain on Friday? Is that right? When I saw in the videos?
Saturday morning had.
Oh, there you go.
And it came through.
Oh, here's the picture. I'm sorry, we don't have of the hillside, but we have of the finals. The top 3 coming through. What's that obstacle in the back?
That's like a hip. They were calling it a shark fin. It's basically like a drop into side of the hill that you're kind of hipping onto.
Okay.
That was a really fun feature that you could carry, crazy amount of speed on.
I have to shout out Ben for that one because he built that feature, and we raked down the bottom of it too and everything, but the transition, just like that drop itself, was just so smooth. Like, it was so perfectly put together. It was like one of the best features.
Wow, that's what you want, right? Especially as Joey's in there, the founder, creator of the event, kind of deal. You want to hear those, like, hey, we're getting better. The right people are working on the trail to make it better, and so that's pretty cool to hear that. The drop, like you said, 31 miles an hour or something going down the hill, obviously, but you guys are smoking on that trail, like you were. Did you have moments like my kids were all watching over my shoulder because it's all on my phone, right? Like, they're watching me just play clips, and they're like, do you think they hit haptic buzz at all? So did you guys ever hit haptic buzz on the race course?
Yeah, I hit haptic buzz coming down the hill and through some of the whoop sections.
I didn't. I actually hit it for like half a second during practice, but whenever I came to like actually racing, I don't know what stops me now, but I tend to play it a little safer in the race itself. And I don't think I went above, whenever I looked at my phone, it was like 23 miles per hour. I didn't go above that.
No, I can't have a hard time believing that. You had to go faster than that, for sure.
No, I think it's still so fast.
That's impressive. Austin, I just thank you for saying going down the hill you had haptic buzz, because you posted on your YouTube channel your vantage point of, I think it's a 360 on a chest mount. And I was like, oh, he hit haptic buzz there. And my son was, I don't think he did. So you confirmed that I was right. I appreciate that. That feels good for the dad in the equation. But it was so fast. It wasn't like it went long. It was like you just heard it and then you were off to the races. And I never heard it again, but that's because you're going so stinking fast. There's a little bit of windage in the footage. But for everyone that wants to see from Austin's perspective, go to his YouTube channel and you can watch from his vantage point his race, his winning race, and it's pretty cool because at some points you see the shadow lurking of Jafari at times, and it's kind of eerie because, like, if you didn't know, you're like, how close is he? How close is Jafari here? It was pretty cool to see from your vantage point. So thank you for posting that.
Yeah, of course.
Mercedes, do you not ride with a camera to record yours?
I don't right now, but I'm gonna start, I think.
Yeah.
I've been told to.
Yeah. Like, we need to, like, I was like, because my girls were all going, well, do you think Mercedes will drop hers? Because they want to watch yours. And I was like, I don't know. I did say, I don't think I've ever seen her wear a camera there, like in a race of some sort. So I was like, I doubt she does. And so there you go. Confirmed that you might wear one. But hey, if it's a difference between winning and losing, don't wear it, okay?
Yeah, I agree. But I would watch the footage too.
The rail last year, and watching that footage is very informative.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, well,
it's like gameplay.
Yeah,
or like watching the tape, you know?
Didn't you hear Jack?
You gotta learn from it.
Jack talked. I thought Jack gave away one of your guys' racing secrets yesterday in their interview. He says, well, you know how the Silvers are. They're always filming themselves and looking what they did right or wrong and getting better. I was like, oh, you can't tell people that. But it's out now. Jack said it. But if you guys had not filmed yourself, we would have missed that epic part of the documentary behind the scenes where Mercedes, you take the trail that was your nemesis for days and you landed. Had you not filmed yourself, we'd have missed that whole moment, that montage, which is like you were crying, I was crying, Holly was crying. It was a moment because it's like she got it and you're trying to explain to everybody in the house, like, why is Mercedes crying? Is she sad? Is she having, you're just trying to explain how much energy you had to in turmoil for days, right? So we're grateful that you guys are filming because we would have missed that moment. So keep filming. Let's get to the men's final race, okay? Austin, we'll get you a crack at it, and then we're gonna come back to Mercedes, and we have the footage of different angles and things of races. You made it to the finals. Who were you? Who are you the biggest concerned about in the final heat? Because it was you, Jeff Adair, and it was Jafari, and then who was the last one?
Connor.
Connor.
Yeah, Connor.
Cavill.
Yeah, so you line up where you going, oh boy, who do I got to be concerned about?
Yeah, I mean, Jafari's got a really good start. I really wanted to get ahead of him to get the whole shot. And him and Jeff and Connor were running all really fast that day. So
Yeah.
I just was focused on getting out front early and getting the fast line because, you know, as wide as the course was, there was pretty much one fast line that was getting worked in, and we were actually laying rubber down on that fast line. So
that's good to know. So you take off. Like, again, we got to make sure that everybody knows Jafari won this event last year, so obviously he is a strong contender. Was he riding a GT at this event?
On GTS.
He was a GTS. Okay. And that's something we couldn't, at home you have no idea what people are riding. At one point, one of the kids thought he was on an XR. I was like, I don't think so. That does not seem wise, but I was like, hey, each their own.
Yeah, Kyle did it.
But last year he was... Say what, Austin?
Jesse Turpin was on an XR.
See?
Nice.
Well, you go with what you're comfortable with.
That's awesome.
But when you say you wanted to get the whole shot, that you did, as we roll that footage again. I mean, you got ahead rapidly. And it was like they were catching up with you eventually. And was that you had a big enough lead? Look at that. You just shot down that hill. Jeff Adair is the one that took the other line. And now look, that gap is mammoth. Did you kind of hold back after you kind of felt like I'm far enough ahead, or did you just keep on the gas pedal?
I was going race pace there, like probably 85%.
Okay. And so look at that gap, though. That's huge. If we can keep that up there so people at home can watch this footage as you talk, that gap is impressive. And so are you 85% in case somebody comes up on you, or just 85% is what's comfortable?
I mean, that's just a comfortable race pace. Basically, I know where they have advantages for footholds and where are good passing opportunities, and those specific spots I'll crank it up a little bit. And if
that's
I turned the Jafari coming up on an uphill turn where he's in the shadow on that POV shot, like I cranked it up there a little bit. It's just comfortable pace that I'm not risking making mistakes on.
Yeah, because that's if somebody's brand new to this sport, that's the difference. If you go too hard, you overpower the board, or you just are riding out of your ability and you get bucked off because of the chunk. And you see that often. I experienced that a lot, thinking I can handle what I'm doing, and then I can't, and now all of a sudden I'm bounced off my board, going, what just happened? And so it's impressive of how you're flying. I think we have more footage from the race that's just below that. Icon, my wonderful daughter, she is panicking at the switcher at the moment because she's like, what do I hit? Here's still another angle of the event. You get a different perspective of the hill. What do we call the hill again? What'd you call it? Monster. I will keep saying, I want to say mega, and that's way off. It starts with the right letter. But here you can still see how far ahead you are. Like, you guys are pretty spread out at that point. Like, I felt like as I was watching it, not knowing, it was going to take an accident for you to lose. Did you ever feel like that? Like you got this, or do you never feel like that in a race?
I mean, it was pretty comfortable after getting the whole shot. I knew, we were all close enough in speed that it would pretty much take an accident or a mistake to get past.
Yeah. And that's what it looks like when you start seeing the gaps just stay. Somebody has to take a risk all of a sudden to ride past your ability, and that's what racing is so great about. Is it does force you to ride at a different level. If you're in behind someone, you're like, in order to pass them, I have to do something dumb. And I'm glad no one got hurt. And again, being able to watch you and see all those things is so much fun. Then we go to women's. I don't know the actual order, but we're going back to the women's race. This is a close neck and neck race as well for you, Mercedes, right? Did you have the same idea? I got to get the whole shot?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting the whole shot and then just staying ahead. And I know that Raquel is such a good head-to-head racer that, like, I was kind of scared. I think that that's actually my first heat.
Yeah, this
so
is
that's
not
Heather.
the finals.
Yeah, that's Heather right behind me. And, like, the way that she comes off of that hill is so impressive.
Now, this is a whole nother race as well for people watching Sorry Mercedes. If they're reading the top, they kind of understand what it is.
There it is, yeah. So right here is where Raquel passes me. So you see how I kind of go off to the left-hand side there. And she passes me on the right. And, like, that was just something I had practiced that line all through practice.
Yeah.
And I was just, like, comfortable with that line. I knew what I could take it at and everything. And when she passed me, I was like, oh, my God, that's such a good pass. And then you have the moment of realization that you are the one that's being passed, and you might need to do something about that. Stayed on her as I could, without to where, like, if any mistakes were made on her part, it wouldn't affect the way that I was riding and racing and stuff. So I stayed on her as close as I could. I took the drop, and then there were, like, 3 little kickers that you could go off of, and I just stayed on the same line that I had been practicing the whole time. And I was, like, slowly inching closer to her to where I was like, okay, I have 1 spot left before we go through the finish gate that I might be able to pass her on. So I just tried to inch as close as I could. And unfortunately, she did come off on the very last burn before going into the uphill to the finish gate. And that's where I passed her. And the whole time I was passing her, I was like, come on, you got to get back up. Like, let's go.
I can't decide if that would be salt in the wound, as if I'm the one in the gutter of the race, or I'd be like, yeah, I gotta go. I don't know if you know this, Mercedes. I think we've said this to you, but our friendship with you guys is because of her. We reached out to interview her however long ago we started doing this, and she was one of the first people, and she's like, I'm not racing this season. I'm having a baby. She said, but an up-and-comer is Mercedes. You should have Mercedes on. And because of that, so it's like, it's cool to watch this. Like, it's fun to watch that. A little bit of a friendship rivalry. I don't know. I'm saying it that. I don't know if that's how you guys put it, but it's like, yeah, this time you got her. And I'm sure there's many other times where she's gotten you.
I'm so excited to, like, have her back in the racing scene and stuff like that, because I know she's just always been one to push the sport and everything. And I'm so excited to race her this year. And, like, last year at Shredfest, I was like, okay, I think I have, like, a decent chance. And then, like, I just heard her, like, behind me the whole time. And I was like, ooh, okay. She's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Fun to race her. The first race that I raced with her was 2019 Race for the Rail. And I'm like, it was a mass group start for the women's race. And I'm like, pretty much all the way in the back, like maybe halfway through the pack or something like that. Just like the whole time of like, oh my God, this is what's possible. Like, I could be way up there at some point. And yeah, so she's just always been such an inspiration, and like getting to race her and having like that back and forth and everything. It's so exciting. I love it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun to watch and just know, like, again, we've been around the sport long enough now to know, for those that have been in the sport long, like, oh, where they've come from, what's their story. And so for me, there's an added, oh no, it's like the Jedi Masters passing the Jedi in training kind of deal. It's like, oh no, is it? And it's just cool to see this little battle out of friendship. Now, I thought maybe you passed her on that next turn, because that was like, if we can show that pass again, she passes you, and then that seems to be like
she starts to get a little wobbly.
Yeah, and it seems like a 90-degree turn versus a berm uphill. That's not where you pass her, right?
No. So it's the berm after that. So you go
Okay.
around that berm right there, and then there's a drop, and then
Okay.
like the three bridges that you'd go over, and those are like the little kickers, and then there's a berm right after that before heading uphill into the finish.
Gotcha. Now we have drone footage really quick. Let's put up drone footage. I know we have the women's final again playing there, but let's put the drone footage of the men's. I've not seen any women's drone footage, so I apologize to all the ladies out there. We just couldn't find it. I don't know if it's available anywhere, but this is, I think, shot from Craft and Ride's Instagram. This is Austin's winning deal, but you can see the whole course, and maybe you both can interject of like different things. That's Jeff going to one side of the hill, and then you guys are talking about those new different features, the kickers and stuff. Maybe people will get a better perspective here. Again, Austin, there's that gap. That's mammoth. Like, I don't know how anybody closes that when you guys are going to this. You're pushing the boards. You got to be crazy individual to push it.
So is this turn right here where Raquel passed you?
No, it's the one after. So this is where you go into an uphill, into what they were calling the shark fin.
Yep.
So that's what that is. And then you have another straightaway that takes you into a slight uphill. You'll see it in just a second. And then there's like a hairpin turn that was like, it was a tough turn. Especially for me, it was like toe side. Oh, so I guess it's like after that. But it was like a toe side turn that was like pretty flat. And so
Okay.
that was a hard corner. And then that's when you go into another, was that like the S?
Yeah, it was like an S turn and then a left-hand berm out. And basically, Mercedes just kind of cut out early from the berm, and she scrubbed some of her speed trying to get over. And Raquel stayed in the berm, maintained more momentum, and carried her into being able to pass.
Yeah, that's again, as a fan and pulling for you, you made me sweat, and I know you're sweating more. You're like, how do you think I felt? I know I'm not the one on the board, and I'm trying to answer all the questions to my children. I'm like, just hang tight. The race is almost over. Let's just see what happens. So I'm glad, Mercedes, because we're rooting for you, that you pulled out the dub. And same with you, Austin, to pull
Proud of you guys.
pull out the dub. That's pretty sweet.
We've been waiting for, well, I'm sure you have too, but for you guys to podium first place together.
First race of the year.
Yeah, this is amazing. We're very happy for you guys.
Okay, so we're gonna bring Epic in. Epic's got go ahead, Mercedes. What?
Oh, I said I think we've done it only one other time. Where was that?
Seek and Tread 2 years
Seek
ago.
and Shred Fest, yeah.
Keep it going.
Let's hope this is foreshadowing of what is going to happen, or at the Race for the Rail main event. Is the first couple to podium together. I would think that would be really cool to see. The other storyline I could see, there's two other storylines I could support, would be one of those that already won the sword, get the 3-peat from Rachel. That would be pretty cool, but that's only if you two aren't showing up to the race. I would go for that. Pretty much we're banking for a husband and wife duo podium deal. Be awesome. And I think if that happens, there should be a special trophy that's given, that it's like one trophy when put together. But separate, it's cool, but you need to put it.
That would be sweet.
I'm just saying, in hopes that the first couple could do it. But Epic's here. Epic, what's your question you would love to ask to the champs?
My question for you.
Actually, you can say hi to him first,
Well, hi.
Yeah, like,
My question is, who's your biggest competitor outside of the Onewheel team?
Oh, the factory team.
Yeah,
Wow. Mercedes face, she just got big, Epic. I have no idea their questions, by the way. I've not preloaded them. So they're going to take the gloves off, apparently, and ask tough questions. Mercedes, you'll have to watch back. The question made your eyeballs go a little big, like, ooh.
Well, I think there's a few that were like given from last year. You always have Rachel Cecil, Rachel Payne, Raquel, and Allie. Like those are top four, the top five of us and everything. Like we're always, back and forth and stuff. But the person that's coming up that I am super excited to race, especially in Texas, I know she'll be there, is Zane.
Yeah.
You guys a couple weeks ago. we raced at Windman, but she's been practicing all winter since then. So I'm really excited to like get out there and ride with her and race against her and everything. Like I'm so freaking excited for her. Like
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're so sweet.
I think that what makes her dangerous, besides her talent, is that she's so young. She is yet to have the fear of like falling off that thing at top speed. That's what I might. And she got a little bit crazy in her. You know, she got that little thing in her eye. You're like, yeah, you're not afraid of much. So
yeah, it's a perfect mixture.
yeah. Did you see the ramp that I think is her and her boyfriend built out of one wheel tires with dirt and stuff, and then it's just a launch ramp?
Yeah, it's like a
really
little
cool.
gap. Oh god, it looks so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, she's something else. She's gonna be fun to watch for sure. Okay, but how about now? That's a good answer as the whole thing. And I know Mercedes, you're on a team of men, but I think you and Zane subscribe to the whole deal that girls can jump just as far and ride just as fast. We just got to get practice or whatever it is. But you're progressing the sport. So who on the factory team do you look at going, if I beat them, I'm pretty good? Now, does this create too much rivalry on the team?
For me, I mean, I'm just trying to keep up with all of them, to be honest.
Oh, safe answer again. Safe answer again.
She always says that though.
She does.
So she must mean it.
No, I think she's going to make us pick who we think it is. I guess we'll have to.
Like, for now, just like with Bodie coming back, I'll try to like nip at his heels a little bit once he
Good
like,
idea.
medal out
Yeah.
yesterday. He's recovering from all of that. So like once he's back into it and everything, I'll really try to nip at his heels, but I don't know how long I'll be able to do that for. And then Tyler, there's just like no keeping up with him, honestly, unless he gives me like a handicap. That is sometimes like how we practice, is like he'll be like, okay, you go 15 seconds ahead of me, and then I'll be right behind you, like I'll try to catch up. And so like that's always a really good like strategy for us to practice. But yeah, I still haven't been able to quite keep up with them, but you know, maybe that'll change after this season.
Yeah, I think
for anyone watching, if you have a riding partner or a friend that, you know, it's a different skill level, you figure out how much slower, how much faster you are, and by percentage, then let them go.
Don't give away too many secrets.
yeah, right, yeah.
Great. Not everyone has someone that's right at their skill level or speed. So.
I'm going to use this when I go on nightly rides with Holly, because she's a little bit slower. She's only been riding really consistent for 30 days, so we'll give it to her. But like I said to her the other day, I go, Holly, this is starting to get painful. I'm riding very slow, and now I'm riding switch. I go, I am getting better because of you, but I'd like to go fast for my speed. I can't keep up with you two either, but I'm just for her and I. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll go, hey, you go down the road a mile, and I'll come catch you.
There you
go. That'll be fun. Okay, Austin. Same. Ep, you want the same question for Austin?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Austin, who in the factory team?
Oh, in the factory?
Yeah, that's what he asked, right? You said factory team.
It could be either one.
I'm twisting it. My apologies. But we're gonna go factory team as well.
The factory team, probably Jafari. You know, he won the whole series last year. He got, I think, second or third at Race to the Rail, and he's great. He's skilled. I think when racers start, I think they dial it up a little too much. You know, going back to percentage, I think a lot of racers, you know, get really anxious and dial it up to 90%, 95%, and end up making mistakes. And I think once Jafari kind of refines his racing a little bit and dials it back a little more conservative, I think he's going to be really hard to keep up with. And then on the factory team, I don't know.
Mercedes is hanging on for this too, I think.
I mean, I personally think it's Neil, but like Tyler's always super fast too, and like Bodie, whenever he was racing, and I'm sure coming up, like I know he is gunning for it. So yeah, I'm hanging on by a string here.
Yeah.
I think Tyler kind of gave up in the consolation race this last weekend. So I know he's worried about foothold racers, and
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
where it depends where their motivation's at. I mean, they're all fast,
Right.
Tyler and Neil, but it really depends on how hungry they are for that specific race or the overall series.
And that's probably the best answer I'll let you have without you actually picking one, is that it does depend the motivation. So I like it. Calculated answer. Good job. That's well done. I applaud that. Epic, thanks for the good question.
Yep. No problem.
You did great. And then we're going to bring up, we'll get, what girl do we have? We'll go Icon next to get a chance to ask a question here in a second. So let me ask this. You guys got all racing jerseys. I noticed different colors of racing jerseys. Were you guys getting to pick a factory racing jersey, or how did that happen?
Yeah, we picked the color. Mercedes and I just based it off of our helmets, and Donovan, one of the graphic guys on the team, took our helmets and color matched them, and that's how we came up with the jersey color.
They look sweet.
But I can't buy maybe your color is available, but when I go online, I have only one option. I can't.
That's the only one that's available to the public currently.
Yeah, what? I said to Holly, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy one, and I'm going to put your name on the back. Just your last name. Right on the back. Yeah, that's unless they're going to sell one that does that or something. But I think the color one on there is your color. It's the orange-ish color one, I thought.
I think it's red.
Red is yours,
Yeah.
but then yours is orange then.
Mine's orange, same as my helmet.
Yeah. I mean, it looks sharp. Your gloves to jersey to helmet, I was like, that's put together right there. Well done. The jerseys look great. And so we will be supporting with your names on the back as if it is your racing jersey. So if there's any questions of who we are pulling for in 2024, there's the answer. Miss Icon sitting here. What question do you have for them?
What's your favorite tire to ride
Wait,
with?
you didn't say hi to them.
Hi.
You can wave. They can see you.
Hi. So what's your favorite tire to ride with?
I really like the performance treaded. Neil had a big influence on developing that. I think it's got a really great profile. It's soft. It's not too soft. We haven't had very many punctures, and it's a good tire. My favorite tire.
I would have to agree.
Nice.
I like that tire as well. I like the width. As much, some people complain about that, but I do like the 7-inch. Now, coming off of winter, the 7-inch is great. 7-inch wise, just it bites the snow very well. And that's the tire I think you're riding, right, Icon?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
There you go. You're one step closer to riding like Mercedes.
Yeah.
Except for you have a GT, she has a GTS, but you're close. Yeah. Yeah, okay, there you go. Hey, since that was such a good question, do you have one more question you'd like to ask, Miss Icon?
Yeah, what's your favorite foot pad?
Ooh. There are, at least you have real good options for foot pads for that, because there are a lot out there by Onewheel at the moment. So that's a good one.
Those soft low boys, those ones are so comfortable.
Yeah, we both used those this weekend.
I had one board with, like, regular low boys, and then I had one board with soft low boys, and you can, guess which one got charged every single day and like multiple times a day. I was using all the time.
Yeah. We have a set of those. We haven't put them on yet, but we're excited about that. To have a front soft sensor foot pad. Thank you. That is, we obviously all know we've always had a back foot pad that's been soft, but a front one too. Miss Icon, it looks like you're going to have to get a summer job to get those, huh?
Yeah, I want to try them.
You want to try them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the bummer about soft foot pads that I don't think anyone really puts into consideration in the Midwest in winter, they don't really matter. About 5 minutes into your ride, they're frozen, and so they're not soft anymore. So what's the point, right? Unless you're going to ride indoors. So we are getting some good weather, but I think by Tuesday we're supposed to have a couple feet of snow sitting outside, so Not quite out of the woods
Oh,
yet. Yeah.
not
Yes.
quite summer yet.
Say that again, Mercedes.
Not quite summer yet there.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
Spring in Minnesota is just you're now in a fight for summer or winter, and they just battle it out. There's no like spring warmness. It's just one day it's just gonna get hot and stay hot. That's it. Other than that, it goes from snow.
The summer does always win.
Yep.
Yeah.
And winter wins the other way, but it's just now a battle, for sure. Icon, thank you for your great questions. That was great, impressive. We'll bring up Legend here in a second to ask the questions. Let's ask this. Some people are just hanging around for the big one, the Vesque GTS and Rider Showdown. Did they have a female version of this, Mercedes, or is it just men?
Just men.
I feel like we
I don't
missed it there.
No.
Why
That's-
wasn't it? Yeah, why not?
I feel like
Like,
I get it. That might be very small,
demand?
but I just like I feel like we missed it as a community. I'm not saying Joey missed it, but it's like, or maybe there are no Vesque girls that want to race. I don't know.
There are. Like that was I
That
didn't
was
see any
why.
women.
Well,
You didn't see any women on a Vesque, you say?
And
Okay.
it kind of makes sense to me. Like I think we just like to tinker a little less.
yeah, that was really kind. I for me, I like to tinker 0.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
I always said like for me, I just kind of like the box or the board out of the box. It's
yeah,
just the way.
me too.
Yes. So well said, but I do feel like even if they would have put, you in the race and had a 5th, just to have a lady presence in there, I think that would have been, I don't know.
Yeah,
And I
but-
don't have an agenda either there. I'm not upset. I'm not disgruntled. I was trying to go, is there a women's aspect of this? And there wasn't. And
There's no demand.
yeah, and I get it. But again, I'm raising 2 young girls, and I'm just trying to say, hey, no, you can compete and contend. And just like Zane and you, Mercedes, are trying to say the same stuff. Like, no, just wonder how we can get in those things where there is a woman in there to just represent, even if it's.
There was a find your line challenge, and that's where you saw like some of the people going off the drops and everything.
Yeah.
And I did end up competing in that, but after a couple of different things that I did, I went over and I was like, even if I am moving on, can I like not for right now? Because I was so tired by the end of Saturday and everything, and I like couldn't keep it up. But I was at least like pretty proud of myself for going in and just even trying, honestly. Like I looked at that hill initially that they were dropping off of, and I was like, oh, there's no way. And
Yeah.
then I kind of got to it and I was like, all right, I'll do something. And I did end up landing something pretty clean, and I was like, okay, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, that was crazy. That whole, and I got it. It was kind of like the drop zone for dirt surfers. I assumed, again, I didn't have any understanding because I wasn't there. I was just looking at pictures. I was like, oh, it's similar. I did feel like the landing it was not ideal. When just from pictures, I was just like, wow, what a harsh transition. But
Steep.
a little steep. Yeah, that's what I felt. But again, I wasn't riding it, so I do know a thing or two in building ramps and drops and things. And I just looked at going, I might ask for more of a transition. But so we get to they called it the expedition. What was it called? Exhibition race.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where the Veskies get to go up against some GTSs. And so, obviously, you were in the race. You were doing a GTS. And then we had 3 others. And was it 2 and 2? What was it?
Yeah, so it was me and Jafari on GTSs versus Nico and Luke on Vesque. And, me and Nico basically came to the top of the hill at the same time. And I considered going too wide with him actually down it, but decided at the last minute to back off. Ended up passing him through the whoops and carried my lead up until the first hairpin corner that was flat and bumpy. And
Yeah.
I think I had a hard time holding on to my speed through that corner without footholds. And Luke basically closed the gap right there and yeah, he passed me coming out of it, and I followed him down the shark fin, and I went to give him a little bit more room, but I got off of the fast line and into some chop, and pretty much immediately nosedived.
Oh.
That was the race for me.
Yeah. That's a bummer because it's, yeah, obviously that's not what we would want, but it's like, I don't know if those races are going to prove what we hope to prove. Again, like you falling out and stuff, because again, overall times you're going to look at throughout the day and who and on what had the overall fastest time. As we were watching that, I still think every time you add a person in the race changes, right? Like if you're racing against Luke Austin, you're going to ride just slightly different, because it's a different skill set that are hitting there. And maybe somebody's going to go, oh, you're making excuses for the GTS group or giving too much for Vesques. I don't know. Bummer that you fell, didn't pull out the dub. Did you feel, let me ask this, when you raced that, did you feel more weight? Did you feel anything like, I'm riding this to prove like GTSs are a legitimate one-wheeler, or was it just like another race for you?
Oh, no, I was exhausted. You know, we had a long week of moving dirt and, you know, practice and racing. I told everyone before the race to be careful and, you know, take it easy, not to get hurt in that race, and then I was the one that fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I wasn't taking it very serious.
But you did put down, like, for everyone at home, like, Austin will never say this because his personality is very different than me, but I'll say it for him. I made sure I wrote down the times and confirmed with him. Here's the overall time for Austin, which was 8:01. Is that correct? Was your time?
Yeah, for the qualifier, it was 8-something.
8:07.
8:07.
8:07 was the total of everything, right? So then you go to Luke Austin, and that was the closest to you based on my research, limited research to what I could find. He's 8:32. Now, I don't know what he was riding on that one. I don't know if that was his, but
That was his board. Yeah, that was for the 4 stages to qualify for the main, and then the track times. Luke got. I don't remember the exact times. It was like
1:47.1. Sorry, I remember.
Yeah, it
thank
was
you, Mercedes.
minute 47, and yeah, he ended up half second faster than me.
So
Luke
on a
got the
Vesque,
fast-
he's a half second faster than you.
Mhm, yeah.
Okay. Half second. That's, I mean, in racing, that's a decent amount. I mean, I know it's, I was talking yesterday. I miss qualifying for Boston every time. I'm within seconds of a 3-hour marathon, but those seconds to me are like, where do I make that up? Like, because I felt like I had nothing left in the tank outside. I go back to training and get it. Seconds in racing is a lot. But I do think you got this. I think it'll be fun. Are you guys, let's ask your schedule. You said you just came out of a meeting planning the calendar, which is awesome. Do you know what races you'll be at this season?
All of them.
Yeah, we'll be at
All
all
of
of the.
Awesome.
Like all of them, and all of them meaning all of them that are for the ORL?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Make it to Northwest Electric Fest.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure we'll be at Windman. We'll definitely be at Windman. But yeah, all of the ORL will be at Oak City, Lemonade, Dirt Surfers,
Yeah.
Silver Treads, all of that stuff.
Sweet. I'm excited to see you in Texas. We'll be there with you. We will be we'll be
You
rooting.
guys.
It'll be fun. We're looking forward to it. To be down there, get our Groms and Legends trying to decide if he's going to race pro, his debut into the pro, or one more season. Do you want to just, Legends here, do you want to just announce if you're going to do pro or what? You make the
let's
decision right now in front of
go.
Austin Mercedes, or ask them. Maybe your question should be, Austin Mercedes, should
I go pro?
Yeah. What?
Let's go. Was that going to be your question?
No,
Come
it was not.
on.
But I'll take their opinion. So should I go pro? I mean, I've thought about it a lot.
Wait, you didn't say hi to him again.
Well, you
None
kind
of
of
them
threw me on the
have.
spot. You kind of just threw me on
We
the
did.
spot.
We did.
Hello.
I think, amateur class has a lot of competition, and it would be fun. Um, there's no rush to get up to pro. A lot of
There you go.
people rush to get up to the pro class. I'm actually working with event organizers trying to build up the lower end uh, of the skills, like beginner, novice, intermediate. I mean, as long as you're in a class that's competitive, you're having fun. So I think personally, I'd say you should stick to amateur, um, at least for dirt surfer, some of the bigger races. Maybe at Windman, when there's a little less competition in amateur, you could race pro.
That's sound advice. I don't know where I've heard that one before yet, but that's sound advice, Austin. How about Mercedes? What do you think?
I would say the same thing. Like, as long as you're in a class that has really good competition and you yourself are challenged, then stick with that class. But as soon as you're no longer challenged in that class, you'd want to move up.
Ooh, there you go. But I think what's one of your questions about the racing season, Ledge, as you debate this, what's one of your questions about being amateur? I don't know if you'll answer it the way you say it all the time, but what's one of your thoughts? Like, who do I have to race?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's no like people just going to amateur just to race amateur, but like there's no one.
Yeah, but your big thing is you've been talking is like, do I want to? I'm thrown in there with Vesques and all these other one wheels. That's been some of your concerns, right?
Yeah, I really don't want to race Vesque. Like I've said it a lot. I don't. That's something I don't want to do. Like I'm passionate about it because it's just I didn't enjoy it at Dirt Surfers, so it's just like, why keep doing something I don't enjoy?
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. There's like again. That's I hear that all the time from him. But again, going pro doesn't mean you don't race Vesque, right?
I mean, not dirt surfers. You're gonna be racing Vesque either way.
Yeah.
Just the points ranks in the point rankings, the Vesque won't be included.
Yep.
But honestly, I think at the amateur level, a lot of the board advantages, the hardware advantages, don't mean as much as they do at the pro level.
Yeah. Again, I love here for those who are even watching, going, hey, should I go pro, amateur? I think just because you can doesn't mean you should. Is kind of where I always go. You got to have a way to process. How do I get there? I think just because you can sign up for it doesn't mean you should. I kind of say to Legend, no, podium, win your bracket, and then go pro, because that says you've graduated up through there. But if you're not consistently podiuming in there, then wait. I know our sport's too young yet to have a bit of that stipulation, but I wish it was a bit of a stipulation. No, you got to win an amateur for X amount of, and then you can be pro. Again, in Ironman circuit, in order for me to go pro in that, I had to hit qualifications the year before. It was always based on how fast I was the year before. In every year, I had to consistently be a certain speed to continue to hold my pro card. I couldn't just, I'm going to be pro all of a sudden just because I'm making that decision. I had to prove it the year before. So people would push on it, going, oh, that's not fair. I have to spend a whole year earning it. I'm not even pro that year. And then next year I have to earn it again while I'm pro. And that's, I believe, how it works even in surfing. You can lose your pro if you don't meet it. So I know our sport's too young on that. But okay, Legend, I know you have a different question for them. What's your question?
Well, I was gonna ask what goes into the training process before a race. Like, what's the process of training before race day?
I mean, a lot of time in the gym, making sure. We did a lot of racing, plus all the dirt moving. We moved 2 truckloads of dirt. So endurance was definitely a key. Eating healthy, that's all good. Staying hydrated, and then as far as like practice goes, going in, looking at all the lines, exploring different lines, seeing where the passing opportunities are. You can go through and look at how late you can test each corner, each feature, and see how late you can brake and how early you can accelerate coming out of it. There's a lot of that in practice, and then dial-in shaping. All of that plays into it.
I love how you added in there throwing dirt because I was going to say you already heard part of their plan going in. They go move dirt, and so yeah, that's great. I do think one of the cool things about Let It Ride is you can ride to correct me if I'm wrong. This is my assumption, but I want to work on this corner of the race course. You can ride straight to it, whereas like in some of the other races, you can't get through the woods, so you have to go down the entire trail to get to a section. And so I think that's a pretty cool spot out there. I want to work on that corner, so I'm going to ride right over there and hit it for a little bit. Am I wrong on that, or is that right?
Yeah, it's all pretty much open.
Yeah.
Which also is a downside if you want more than just sand, I suppose. But I do think every course is pretty cool. I really wish, and I know ORL is not going to do it, and this is me just being a fan, I wish they would have one race in snow so that you got sand, rock, hills, and then like, well, let's prove it. Let's get an all-around who can race in snow.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, one
if they
day.
ever, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to put the
Feel
race on.
confident in that.
It'll be us, and we'll submit it to the ORL, a race. Think about that. You could really send it in a snow track and be less concerned about injuries because when you fall at top speeds, you just slide. You just slide. It's like it's much more daring in snow. All right, Legend, thank you for your question. As we get ready to land this thing, Historic's going to come up with her question. I think she's the most nervous. She's like, Dad, I don't know what question to ask. Dad, what was a question I should ask them?
Aw.
And so she was super nervous to come on in. But she dressed appropriately. So that you, when she knew she was going on camera with you two, she has dressed appropriately. We'll see if she's high enough in the camera to you to catch
you
it.
can see it.
I think one thing to also add to the training too is have like a couple of specific goals. So like this season going in, like I have 2 very specific things that I need to work on, and then like a few little extras and stuff, but just have like some very specific goals, and then also work your way up from day one. So don't go super hard and try to hit everything the fastest that you can on the first day that you're there for practice. You want to go and you want to like see the trail at a lower speed, so like half of your speed, and then you'll slowly build your speed up from there.
That's good.
Yeah, that's one thing. I've taken myself out and injured myself pretty early on in practice because I've just gone too hard.
That's so good. I hope everyone at home's hearing that because I think people go 100% all the time thinking that's the way you're supposed to do it. Hopefully you guys didn't give away too many of your secrets. But we got Mrs. Storick over here who is faithfully riding an XR. She's kicking it old school on an XR. Mrs. Storick, say hi to them and fire your question.
Hi. My question.
Did you hear her?
No.
Oh, you didn't put the headphones on. She forgot. She's like, oh, I forgot the. She said, nice jersey.
Oh,
I love your jersey.
thank you.
For everyone at home, that is Mercedes Race for the Rail jersey 2 years ago, I believe. And so.
Prized possession.
Yes, it is. She wants a jersey frame. You know, you see like them do with basketball jersey. That's what she wants to do with that. It comes out on very rare occasions. So she doesn't wash it. And so she's like, I can't sweat in it, Dad. And so. All right, Mrs. Storick, what's your question?
My question is, what brand of pads do you wear?
Ooh, like her body protection.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mostly, I think all of our stuff is Leah, actually.
Almost everything, yeah. Leah upper armor, Leah impact shorts, Leah knee pads, and then we have different gloves, and then we have function wrist guards.
The 3-axis knee pads, I do have to say, are the best. It's like, and they're not too bulky either, but they're like hard knee pads.
Yes.
I've landed on those things so many times, and it's pretty much been a breeze. Whenever I've landed on softer knee pads, it's not a breeze.
I love hearing that. I am like we're all on a quest because we have those Fox knee pads and they're great. They served. The purpose is starting, but now we've fallen enough that you don't slide in tough terrain. You kind of get caught, and it's not enough padding. So we're all looking for hard knee pads that aren't ginormous. So we'll give that a look at it. Let me ask this, Mercedes, on those knee pads, can I take them off? If I put them over my pants, can I just take them off, or do I have to slide them up?
Yeah, they just they have 3 different spots where they clip, and you can just put them on over your pants or whatever you want to do, but you can take them off. My thing is I always have to tie my shoes after I put everything on, but with those knee pads you don't have to take your shoes off and slide it off and everything. You can just take it off as it is. My favorite part.
That's what I want. That is what I want. I want to be able to take those things off, because what happens on race day, I'm just stuck in them because I put them underneath my pants, and I don't want to go to the bathroom, take everything off to take them off. So I just live in them all day. And it's okay, we're going to look that up. The Under Armour stuff that you guys, who makes that again?
Leah.
Top?
It's all Leah.
You pointed me to that. I rode in those. Love that. That was I put it on a Christmas list and got it. And I know all the kids are saving up for that top Under Armour because it's so thin. But it's good. So we say if the pros wear it, we should wear it. So, okay. Thank you, Mrs. Stork, for looking good today and asking great questions. Okay. Lily, you got a question today?
Well, I was curious, are you still riding the same shoes that you were riding? I forget the brand, Austen, that you like. Are you both riding that same brand still? Or are you still in Vans, Mercedes?
I'm still in Vans.
Still in Vans.
Wearing them right
There
now. Yeah.
I have 2 pairs of shoes. But yeah, these ones are actually a collaboration with a kitchen company. And so the bottoms of them, let me see if I can. The bottoms are they have little grippies right there instead of being having the waffle pattern on the
so it's
inside.
a non-slip.
Yeah.
Which is probably great for riding too.
It is so good.
That's awesome. How about you, Austen?
I like mountain bike shoes.
Yes.
The soles are just a little bit stiffer, so it basically allows you to put more leverage when you're pushing on your toe side or your heel side.
Cool.
Yeah. So I
Awesome.
have Ride Concept shoes. I think they're the Ride Concept Accomplice shoes.
Cool. Yeah, this really is a tell-all interview.
A little bit.
Down to the footwear.
We've never deep dived with you guys like this on camera.
Not on camera, yeah.
If people are still hanging around watching it and listening to it, you're getting some hot information from some pros that are the fastest currently in the world. That's what I'm labeling you guys right now. And to the next race, you're the fastest in the world right now, because if you didn't show up and you're saying you're faster, well, you didn't prove that because you missed a race. So right now, the fastest 2 male and female are on this podcast at the moment on Onewheels, and it's an honor to be with you guys. Thank you for letting our Groms ask questions to you guys. You guys are their heroes.
Yeah,
and
fun.
So it's pretty cool that they get
I loved them.
Yeah.
I had no idea their questions, so I'm impressed with them. I think if we kept going and got the bottom 4, I think the impressed level would very, very much diminish down
but
to...
But the cuteness level would increase. I will say that. It would increase for sure.
Yes. The 4 littles are parked right in the middle of the studio, head cocked up to the TV, watching the 2 of you and listening very intently. So they're actually... We even got Wookiee in here. Hilarious. They all just waved at you. As you guys they're waving at you like you can see. We should have put a camera on them. What were we thinking? But thank you guys for hanging with us. It'd be pretty cool to see you guys in Texas in less than a month, which is going to be pretty cool to be down at a brand new race location. And it'll be fun to be able to film. And again, what I love about going to those events, because of one of my frustrations is the documentation of the events is not done well enough to understand. I like getting there and being able to document it in a way. Hopefully it's a good story, tells what's going on, and hopefully we capture it in a way that people get to, I can't get it out a full edit by Sunday, so they just got to wait through midweek, but having an edit of here's what took place this weekend. So it'll be a fun one to get out there with you guys. So Be safe, Austen and Mercedes. Thank you for your time today. Anything else you want to say about the weekend that I didn't ask?
I think we covered quite a bit of it. As always, thank you for having us on and, for being our fans and some of our biggest supporters. I appreciate it. Like, you guys are so awesome. We love you.
Yeah,
Love you.
And I've just made up my mind. Holly and I talked about this the other day as we still have your Christmas box. We're just going to drive it to Texas. Okay, that's the plan at this point. It's like, why even mail it? We suck at mailing. Ask Lily. She does a lot of our mailing. And we just, it's sitting there.
We wouldn't get it for another 2 months because we'll be on the road the whole time.
Well,
Perfect.
We'll meet you there with your Christmas gifts. Well, race gifts at this point. But, please forgive us for the red and green, as it is obviously themed out at this
Outdated.
point.
That's it's always my favorite colors. I love it.
So we'll be there rooting you guys on. Have fun out there. Can't wait to see videos dropping from the headquarters of you guys mobbing and riding. Always fun. I think that one of the best ones that had us laughing, Mercedes, was you recently riding some trail that Austen put you on. And I was like, I'd have bailed at some point. I'd been like, no, I'm just turning around. I'm going home. As you walked up, carried the board, and you're like, yeah, anyone ever have Austen send you a location to go ride? It was hilarious.
Prepared. I do have to say it was a good trail, but it was just a little more mentally challenging than I had anticipated to begin with. Normally, I try to set myself up pretty good for those because God knows the trails that he will pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was just a little extra.
Yeah. I think one of our kids are watching and they go, because for a second there, I think they thought a camera was following you and then forgot that you had an Insta360 with you. So they're like, wait, is she out there by herself? What if she falls over that cliff by herself? She should not be out there. They all went mom mode on you and they're just little grums. I do
have this little watch that will warn people. I never know which way to go with the directions, but it's not quite an Apple Watch, but I can do some stuff on it at the very least.
Yeah. Well, great. It was funny when you're sitting there winded, just catching your breath going, this is one of those things that Austen sent us out on. You never know. It was very entertaining. At least we found it entertaining. And so can't wait for the next videos.
Up that hill too. That was part of my challenge was the hill. It really wasn't it was steep, but I know how he keeps his momentum through things, and he would have just blasted up it. When I'm sitting there, I'm like, dang it, I took one wrong little line and hit this one rock, and now I have to walk the whole rest of the dang thing.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I would have been back at the first time you got off the board, still carrying my board, going, how am I ever going to get up this thing? And you did much better than I would have ever done. So for those that have not seen it, go to Onewheel's YouTube channel. You'll see it. Mercedes is on the cover of it. You'll have a good smile because you'll just learn a lot about Mercedes and her I'm never going to quit attitude. So it's
you.
great.
Hopefully
All right.
We'll get some of those done soon.
Good. Keep pumping that stuff out. I love it. We love it up here in Minnesota. So have fun out there in California, you guys. Take care of those pups, and we'll see you in a couple weeks, okay?
Bye, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
bye. Oh, man. What a privilege to hang out with some pros, right, Lil?
Super fun. And it was good conversation in the chat, too. So it was a good day.
Yeah, hopefully things were learned and being able to catch up with two pros that on and off the course are great. That's not saying that those that they were competing with weren't. We just got a hold of them because they podiumed just
They won it.
last year we brought Jafari in here when he podiumed at the same event. So excited about the race season is upon us. If you want to follow the story here on this YouTube channel and you're still watching, you probably should subscribe. Stop what you're doing. Pull the car over to the side. Stop listening for a second and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you're always, because this one dropped out of nowhere. We just had the opportunity.
True.
And so we wanted to do that. We do have a video coming out reviewing 5-inch hubs. We have had the privilege to get both 5-inch hubs, one from the Float Life and another one from Onewheel Parts. What's the difference? Which one weighs less? Which one's width-wise narrower? We got it all in a tell-all review. So hang tight for that. Lil, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for making us
fun.
smile
Yeah.
with your shirt.
Smile more.
Yeah, smile more, everybody. That's it. That's how we're signing off today. Smile more, everybody. Adios.
Bye.